Well, a jam-packed day of testimony in Markeith Lloyd's second murder trial. Jurors not only hearing from witnesses, but the medical examiner, too. Lloyd is accused of killing Orlando Police Lieutenant Deborah Clayton at a Walmart in 2017. In the last few hours, prosecutors have introduced new evidence in this case. News 6's Nadine Yanis is live outside the Orange County Courthouse for us tonight. So, Nadine, there's a lot to unpack here.
I could not imagine what it was for the jurors because there was a lot of evidence presented. There is a table in that courtroom with piles and piles of envelopes, and piece by piece, the state started going through that evidence today. The jurors leaning in, engaged, as that witness testimony continued on day 3 of this trial. The black security shirt prosecutors say Markeith Lloyd was wearing at the time he killed Lieutenant Deborah Clayton was the first piece of evidence pulled out of an envelope that has been sealed for nearly 5 years, and the first of a lot of evidence presented to the jury today against Markeith Lloyd. CSI investigators also pulling out 2 guns they say they found when detectives finally arrested Lloyd 8 days later. The massive manhunt.
That location, the trail went cold.
Yes, sir.
And capture, part of testimony.
One of the Orlando Police homicide detectives, Mike Fields, was at the wiretap room, and he called us and said, hey, we're hearing a voice, and one of the people here who has had dealings with Mr. Lloyd believes it's Mr. Lloyd on the phone, and we homed in on that particular phone.
I could see that they were showing their hands as they were coming out of the door.
And was the person who you saw initially come out of the door eventually identified as the suspect, Markeith Lloyd?
He was.
This while jurors also saw evidence connected to Lieutenant Clayton. Her gun collected where prosecutors say she fell. And for the first time,
there were multiple gunshot wounds.
Pictures of her and her body as the medical examiner took jurors through the autopsy.
There was one in the neck, which also went to the back. There was one in the leg, one in the abdomen, and I think another one in the abdomen.
Dr. Joshua Stephanie testifying he believed Lieutenant Clayton could have survived 3 of the gunshots, but not the one to her neck. The one prosecutors say was the final and fatal shot.
Showing you photographs.
So 12 witnesses total took the stand today. Now, it's important to note that during one of these witness testimonies, a detective was saying, look, there was so much going on. 2 officers were deceased that day, and then he was immediately stopped, because it is important to note that Deputy Norm Lewis, who was responding to the scene, was killed in a separate crash that same morning. He is not allowed to be brought up during this case. And because of that one sentence, the defense decided to call for a mistrial today. The judge denying that mistrial. They're going to talk more about that when court resumes at 9 o'clock tomorrow. Witness testimony then continues at 9:30. Guys, back to you.
Nadine Yanis reporting live for us. Thank you.